helped me, and I've said it before, when I haven't done my art, I've turned my back on it. Life is unclear, it's foggy, it's crappy. But when I turn to it, things get clearer, things are a little better, I make more connections. I haven't found a way to make it my sole source of income yet, but we'll see. I'm doing a podcast. It's a creative outlet for me. I might be doing a play soon. We'll see how that goes. I just have to make the time to work on things. I was able to get through that Halloween art challenge. I found a way. I don't know if I want to do that next year. We'll see. But it was a fun challenge to create stuff every day. So what's the point of all of this? What's the point of this particular episode? I'm reflecting. And like I said, it's that time of year. And, you know, it's the first Thanksgiving without Mom. And it's going to be coming up to the anniversary of her passing. And I know for sure I'm not the only one that's dealing with losing a loved one near the holiday. And I just want to remember her and celebrate her life. But I also want to think about leaving a legacy for myself, for my family, my stepdaughter, my granddaughter, my niece. Something that they'll remember me for than just being... I mean, of course, I want to be the most loving and fun and supportive person I can to them. I want to leave them something more. I want them to see that I'm going to be an example to them, that this is the way to live a life, which I'm working on. It's challenging, but I'm trying to find a way. I hope you can. I really hope you can. And if it's through the arts, which is what this podcast is about, that's just gold right there. And so many guests that they have found a way to make a living with their creative talents and their art. Whether it's guest number 1, my acting teacher, Lori Ann Davis. She's been able to support herself through acting and teaching. Or my friend Lou Lentino Rodriguez. He's been a struggling actor, but he's finally getting some work. And the episode that is the most played out of all my episodes on the show, which is my second guest, Dean McCrane, the potter. I can't believe that episode has been played and downloaded more than anyone. And he supports himself with his pottery. My friend Rodini, he was a graphic designer almost as long as he's been alive. Jeff Alligu, a musician who's only been a musician. He's never held a day job. And he's been doing this for almost 4 decades. And there's other people, too, who quit their day job and have found success with the arts, like Sam Kimberly. She's a designer, jeweler. And Rebecca McGill, who left her day job and is now doing designing and woodworking. And there's other inspiration from Rebecca Flott, another Rebecca, who came to America, not knowing the language, not knowing a lot about the culture, but she found a way through her art to become a full-time painter. And a podcaster, too, on top of that. That is so inspiring. I look back at some of my other guests, like Marcy Geller, a fellow Long Islander who's done music all her life. She still has a day job, but works in her music a lot. She's never giving up on that, which is so important in this. And comedians, I've met with Joe Dungan and Chris Roach, who found a way to use their comedic talents to keep them going. Victoria Tori Ullman, doing her tattoo art, helps her support herself. I'm very happy to see that. Of course, my wife, Annie Rudy Monaco, who's been able to support herself doing her choreography and her fitness together which is an incredible art. She just went back to work this month, and it's great to see her back in her groove, and she's very excited about teaching. We also have people who are just starting out, like Ariel Hope Santarelli, one of the many guests I actually interviewed face-to-face, and she's getting married in 6 months, but she's not giving up on that creative side of her, channeling her acting and modeling and singing. Also, Mackenzie Lee Hart, who just started her acting career in California, and hopefully that'll start growing for her. Speaking of California, of course, we interviewed the awesome Sig Neutron, who competed on the show Face Off. I'm so grateful, definitely grateful for getting that interview with him. He was the sweetest guy, and man, I'm so happy that I had that chat with him. And one of the other chats was so remarkable, was interviewing Alex Ferrari of the Indie Film Hustle podcast. That was a long episode, folks, but it was so cool to talk with him, of all people. And we learned so much from him. And here's another guy, another Alex, who has found a way to build a business around that. That's where I'd like to be someday. It's so inspiring to hear that, and so encouraging. I mean, just for him to take the time to talk with me, I am so grateful for that. And another personal guest, Debbie Ortiz. So nice to hear her story and see that she used her art as a healing form with Code 9, Officer Needs Assistance, the documentary she made to bring awareness to post-traumatic stress disorder in police officers and first responders. Her husband was suffering with PTSD, and she was, and didn't even know it. And through her art, she found something, made something special. Not just a movie, but a movement. Because if you ever check out her Facebook page, she is constantly going to meet with police officers all around the country and doing seminars on it and classes on it, instruction on the PTSD and bringing awareness to it and helping so many police officers and first responders. That's art going beyond your wildest dreams. And the one I just had, Liz Acar, using her photography to make a book to help her in her healing process with losing a loved one and a really bad illness she had. And it's helping others. Man, oh man, I could go on. But as you can see, with these past 37 guests, with a bonus episode featuring my granddaughter, that art matters, of course, and these artists matter. Their stories matter. And it's helped shape their lives. And it's shaped all our lives. All of us have come into contact with some form of art, whether it's a book, a song, a movie, a TV show, a stage show, an opera. You have come into some kind of art in your life. And I hope you're someone who can really appreciate how that affected you. Many of us can look back at a song, hear a song, and it takes us back to a special time in our lives, because that song is a piece of art. You may see a TV show or a movie, and man, that movie could have sparked something and bring you back to a time, a memory. You saw that movie with your parents or another loved one, and it will always have a special place in your heart. Whatever it is, art has been part of your life, and whether you know it or not, it has made a difference in your life. So I encourage you to channel your creativity and do it as soon as possible, because time can be fleeting. It can be over before you know it. And it's almost like an advertisement or an infomercial. Don't delay. Start today. Explore too, because it may not be what you think it is. A lot of the people I've listened to here, I know there's artists that they tried making it in the arts as just one thing. Like even Alex Ferrari, he was a filmmaker and he was solely on that, but he said, let me try podcasting. Another creative way to explore. And it's kind of blown up from there. It led to him going back to being a filmmaker and making his first feature and a second feature. So don't be tied down to thinking that, well, this is the only thing I can do. See what else is out there. Debbie was an actress and a dancer. She's a documentary filmmaker now. My acting teacher, Lori, she was just an actress, and then she decided to explore teaching acting, and it's worked out great. So yeah, just don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. You can do so much more. That's my encouragement to you. And in any way, shape, or form you can, support your arts. Like I said, these past 2 weeks I went to see plays with former guests of mine, and I'm so grateful I did, and I'm trying to do what I can to support them. I bought Robert Otone's book. I've been reading that. I can do more. One of my former guests, Rodini, he supplied my business cards for the Artist Matters. So thank you for that, Rodini. I encourage you to check them out. If you're in the area or find their stuff online, purchase their books, shirts, their services. I encourage you to do that. And definitely support the arts in your schools. I don't want to hear any more stories of schools cutting funding in the arts, because that is so integral to our survival. And I encourage you, if you've never seen the TED Talk, which features Sir Ken Robinson, it's all about how arts are so important and that we need them. We really need them. And it's a very entertaining one, and it's one of the most top viewed TED Talks. I will definitely put a link to that in the show notes for this episode, and you'll see why it's one of the top viewed TED Talks there is. And hopefully this little spiel of mine will have an impact on you and encourage you to keep going, keep doing your thing. Take advantage of the time you have and make a difference, leave a legacy behind. If it's in the creative arts, hey, that would be great. That's what this show is about. But if it's something else, hey, go and pursue it. Don't delay. Start today. As Alex Ferrari said, some people are dead at 20 but buried at 90. You don't want to be that person. I've seen too much of that happen, and it's absolutely terrible to see young men and women who thinks their lives are over. They're stuck doing this, they're stuck doing that, they have responsibilities, and they've got no time for themselves to explore their creative side or wherever it is, and just thinking this is it. Life will never get better than this. It won't. That's the truth in your mind. But you know what? You can change that truth and say, maybe I can make a difference. Maybe I can leave a legacy behind. I should start. Because it could be over before you know it. And what do you have left? An empty life. And we don't want that. No way. Well, I hope this episode has been good for you. And I went off a bit. And I did not expect for me to be doing this at all. I thought I would have an episode with me interviewing someone. But sometimes you got to improvise. That's the way things go. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. And you'll definitely have a guest next week. And enjoy your week. Get ready for Thanksgiving. And I will see you all then. Of course, share this episode with someone. Subscribe to the podcast. You can do that on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts. Whatever it is, please subscribe. Give me a 5-star rating because I'm so good at this, right? Because, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. I'm very grateful for you to stick around and be a part of the Artist Matters family. It's an honor. So check out this episode. You'll see it at the Artist Matters website, which is theartistreallymatters.com. And I'll leave you links in show notes.